the world's garment factory, home to the longest beach on the planet. But to operate in one of the most densely populated nations on Earth, you have to understand the price of progress. Welcome to the 99% reality of Bangladesh. Looking at Dhaka, you immediately see the scale. Millions packed into a rapidly industrializing footprint, built around the winding curves of the Buriganga River. For the location independent, this creates a stark choice. Are you looking at a high ROI base to bootstrap a business, or purely a raw frontier adventure? The math on paper is undeniably cheap, but you have to ask yourself, at what point do extreme financial savings get swallowed by daily operational chaos? On the global relocation matrix, we weigh cost of living against logistical friction. Bali has moderate cost, low friction. London has high cost, low friction. Dhaka occupies the extreme bottom right. Cost is a rounding error, but daily friction is immense. We call this the friction tax. It is the hidden, non-financial cost of moving through and operating in a hyper-dense environment. Surviving and profiting here means looking past the macroeconomic hype. You have to take an honest inventory of your own threshold for intense, ground-level realities. Most foreigners start inside the tree-lined canopy of Gulshan. It operates as an insulated, upscale expat bubble shielded from the wider city. Inside this zone, your capital goes an incredibly long way. Securing a decent, modern one-bedroom apartment runs between $200 and $500 a month. The daily burn rate drops even further when you source locally. Fresh, raw ingredients or massive local staples like Hilsa fish curry keep meal costs strictly between $2 and $5. This creates massive geo-arbitrage. A foreign entrepreneur can stretch a limited runway by tens of thousands of dollars compared to Western or mainstream Asian hubs. But that leverage comes with a strict boundary. The moment you step outside the residential bubble, the equation shifts. You immediately hit the density wall. Every available inch of pavement is choked with pedestrians, carts, cars, and thousands of cycle rickshaws. A simple 3-mile commute can easily consume an entire hour. The pace is fast, chaotic, and relentlessly loud. That is how you pay the friction tax. You trade seamless urban mobility for geographic isolation, exchanging your freedom of movement for unparalleled affordability. If you are looking at the macroeconomic drivers validating Bangladesh as a business hub, the numbers are anchored by pharmaceuticals and ready-made garments. This is the engine floor of the world's clothing supply. Millions of workers populate endless rows of sewing stations, driving a colossal industrial export machine. Running parallel to that physical labor is a rapidly scaling digital workforce. The country is now a massive hub for freelance developers and IT professionals. Yet the local wage structure remains firmly anchored. The median monthly salary for skilled white-collar professionals ranges from $400 to $800. This chart compares that local earning ceiling directly against the baseline expat living costs we established earlier. A local professional's base pay doesn't even cover the lowest tier of expat rent in Gulshan. Moving here to compete for traditional local employment is financially unviable. The directive is strict. You must bring external foreign income, operate strictly as a remote freelancer, or deploy capital as an employer. You use this environment as a strategic base to build products and hire talent. You do not come here to look for a job. If your goal is exploration rather than enterprise, the dense cities give way to vast, relaxed riverine landscapes deeply rooted in tradition. Head south and you reach Cox's Bazar. It is the longest unbroken sea beach on the planet, stretching for miles along the coast. Further inland lies the ultimate hidden asset, the Sundarbans. This is the largest continuous mangrove forest in the world. It serves as the final stronghold for the majestic Royal Bengal Tiger. The wildlife encounters here are completely raw and unfiltered by mass tourism. But this frontier beauty requires frontier vigilance. Locals are incredibly hospitable, yet solo travelers must stay actively aware of petty theft in crowded markets and the constant risk of severe traffic accidents. And all of this, the travel, the business, the daily movement, is dictated by a single, unavoidable meteorological constraint, the tropical monsoon. Arriving during the summer months means facing extreme heat and torrential rains that can literally wash out transport routes and cripple infrastructure. Because of this, there is a rigid operational window. You plan your arrival strictly between November and February, when the air is dry and cool. Bureaucratic friction, at least, is dropping. Visas on arrival are increasingly accessible for many nationalities, and streamlined e-visas are scheduled for rollout by 2026. You trade the ease of a turnkey vacation for high-effort, high-reward authenticity. Getting to the core of this country demands seasonal planning and physical endurance. Bangladesh doesn't coddle the visitor. It completely lacks the comfortable, plug-and-play tourism infrastructure of Southeast Asia. So we run the scenario match scorecard to see who succeeds and who fails. The resilient optimizer thrives. Bootstrapping tech founders, supply chain investors, and hardcore travelers gain massive leverage. But the turnkey nomad, needing seamless cafes and sensory calm, will be broken. There's a strict psychological breaking point. If hypervigilance or hours deadlocked in traffic drains your productivity, the thousands saved on rent become entirely meaningless. It comes down to a harsh personal calculation. You have to weigh the intense physical friction of the 99% reality against the hard math of your own financial and experiential goals. Can a nation this crowded manage its friction and become the next economic giant? Let us know your take below. Next up, we shift gears to Barbados, the gem of the Caribbean. Subscribe to stay real.